looking at your goals in life and really digging down deep into what you want in 2020 and going after it in an unapologetic way and really focusing on what do you need. A lot of people just like, again, I don't know why, and it's human nature, I think, to just be like, oh, if we make that decision, like somebody might be upset, or my family might think differently of me, or God, people might think I'm crazy, or whatever it is. But if you feel it in your gut, then it's about clearing the path to where you can focus on that one thing fully. What's up? Welcome to the podcast. Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's.
2020.
What the heck? How did we get here?
I don't really know, actually.
It's insane that it's the end of a decade.
It
sounds so monumental.
It was one of those weird things of like, oh, it's a new year, New Year's Eve, cool. And then somebody was like, yo, it's the end of a decade. And I was just like, wow. Like when you think about 2010 through 2020.
We weren't even married yet.
We were just getting married.
We got married in 2010.
Yeah, we did.
I always forget. For some reason, I think it's 2012, but 2012 is when we started traveling. But 2010
is when we got married.
Oh my gosh, how cool is that?
Almost 2011 though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool, so fun fact, is that Aaron has recorded every single year that we've been together, so 12 years in total, every single year he's recorded the ball dropping and like what we're doing on New Year's
and who
Eve.
we're with.
And so it's so cool because we were like, I feel like we watched this recently.
Before
you lost them. They were on a hard drive.
I lost them all. The hard drive blew up. And I literally almost paid thousands of dollars just for that footage.
Videos. But we rewatched them before that happened. And it was like really cool to witness like first year. There was pretty much every year Aaron was videotaping. I was yelling at him, telling him to put his camera down and just like enjoy the moment. Yeah. And like trying to sneak kisses, and he was like shooing me away so he could like watch.
I was never shooing you away. I wanted to videotape why we were doing our New Year's Eve kisses and then everybody else that was there. But it's one of those things you look back on, and I could have been in the moment, but it's like it
was so cool. It was really cool.
It is
to be able
funny
to
listen to some of the conversations that have gone on, like from 12 years.
We were a mess.
There was like the first 3. There was like some arguments going on. And, and like the ball dropping was like the icebreaker that kind of turned it around.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really fun to watch, and we'll do it again this year. It's become like our tradition. I think.
Well, speaking of traditions, that's a good lead-in because whatever you guys are doing, be safe, have a good night. Kim and I always, we've recently, the last 3 years? 3 or 4 years, we stay in, we go out to dinner, then we have some cocktails.
We're so old.
And it sounds old, but I think it sounds, I think it's
my
awesome.
Favorite night.
It really is, because then you don't have to worry about the craziness. And so we come home, we buy cardboard sheets, and we make vision boards for the year.
Yeah.
And we make a business one and a personal one.
Yeah. And they're so fun. Like, we're obsessed with vision boards because it's a really powerful way to get super clear on what you want and set intentions around it. And obviously we all know, New Year's is all about the fresh start. Yeah. And we're going to get into that a little bit in the episode. But we've been making vision boards since we've been together. And it's really cool because when we went back to our storage unit, a couple of years ago, we had all of our old vision boards in there, so we were looking at them, and the first one we ever made was so crazy. So it was a pug, a fenced-in backyard, going to Italy, France, California, San Francisco. Like, we had all the places we wanted to travel to.
We had getting in shape, getting healthy.
Paying off our credit card debt, like all of these things.
We did have a boat on there, which I don't know what that was.
That was like the one random thing. Like, I've never wanted a boat. Like, I like friends with boats, but I don't want one.
And I've never wanted a boat either.
I feel like that was just like a random. Yeah. And we never got a boat, so apparently we don't. I don't know what that was. We weren't feeling it. But it's really cool because we had all of that on the vision board before any of it ever happened. Yeah. And looking back, it's like, of all of them, it's like, whoa, like we've literally checked every single thing off. Everything has happened. We've had the house, we've had the yard, we have the pug, we've paid off credit card debt. Not only have we and we had the travel, because travel's always been such a huge passion of ours, but we had the places we wanted to travel to way back when we couldn't even afford
to travel.
To save. Like, we were saving to go to San Francisco and we could put like $5 away a month. Like, it would have taken a really long time to get there. And now not only have we gone there, we've lived there. Like, it's just wild to kind of see the journey.
Yeah.
And so vision boards are one of our favorite things to do, just to like not only create, but to look back on too. And be like, whoa,
100%.
This is so badass.
And I like that during this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about the steps to achieving that vision board, because it's like, it's one to make it. Anybody can make a vision board, but it's like, how do you bring those things to life?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's one of the big tips we're going to give in this episode.
Yeah. So this episode, we're just going to chat about, we're going to share some things that we're really excited about for 2020. And our goal for 2020, and then talking about not only just setting goals or intentions, but really how to go about that to set yourself up for success, and what we had to do and what we had to let go of in order to really show up for how we want 2020 to feel. And so let's just kind of get into it and share.
This is going to be a really fun but hopefully inspiring podcast, and Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. Okay, so before we even get into it, because I feel like it correlates, we have a YouTube channel, for those of you guys who don't know. Kim and Aaron G. Push pause, head over. Wait, what did you used to say? Smash the like button.
Yeah, hammer the like button.
Oh my gosh, we're so lame.
At the beginning of every episode, because I watched like some YouTube videos and they were all like, before we get into this episode, head down, subscribe, and hammer that like button.
Oh, like, I can't.
So I used to say it, and like we were watching some videos last night, and I was like, "Oh God!"
You've come a long way, but hold on. Before, like, let's circle back. We have a YouTube channel, Kim and Aaron G. Go check it out. It's a place that we're bringing back to life, and we started it when we went over to Asia because we wanted to share our experiences and share our travels and just share everything that we were doing.
We literally were going over there for the first time. We took some extended time off of work. I saw it today on Instagram. They called it fun employment.
Yeah, I always see that.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
And so basically our families were like, "You're doing what?" And so I was like, "Don't worry, we're going to film everything and we'll put it on YouTube." And it was a way for our family and friends to watch and go along with our journey.
Yeah.
It ended up being so much fun.
Well, we realized that we love being on camera. I think we're really good at it. Like, I just think we're not, like, we enjoy it. So it's natural. We love sharing about where we're going, what we're eating, giving tips and stuff for like other travelers. And we just love to share the experience. And so it became this really fun thing that we love to do. And so we started the YouTube channel.
Not to mention, I found my love for editing and like putting a story together too. So that was kind of a cool thing that I realized I loved.
Yeah, well, and that's the beautiful part of it is like I love planning and creating the videos, and you love to edit them, and so it kind of works really well.
Yeah.
And so when we got home, we didn't stay consistent with it because we weren't like,
we were working.
Yeah, and so it wasn't as much fun. And so it's something that we're going to get into in the episode about like our goals, but that's one thing that we're really passionate about. We're really excited about. We want to bring it back to life. We're going to be doing a lot of traveling this year, which we're going to get into. And so we're going to bring the vlog back to life.
It's coming back with a vengeance.
So if you want to follow along with us, go check it out. Kim and Aaron G, subscribe, check it out. And it's funny because like Aaron was saying last night, one of our favorite things to do is have a glass of wine and watch our YouTube videos because it's really fun to see all the places we've gone.
We do watch other people's YouTube videos.
Yeah,
we
don't just watch our own. Yeah, but we do like to watch our own too.
Yeah.
And so we took it all the way back to the very first vlog we ever did. Oof. And it's when we went to Gili Tea off Bali.
It's in Lombok.
Oh, yeah, it's off Lombok in Indonesia. Oh my God.
It was so painful.
It was humiliating.
And again, this is coming from somebody that I can listen to all of our podcasts. I actually enjoy watching our newer videos.
Me too.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love them. I get excited by them and like inspired by them.
Yeah.
And it puts me in that place that we were. and
Yeah.
so I like watching them. I could not make it through the first 5 minutes.
We were hiding under the covers, like cringing. I was humiliated, and it was just the two of us, like watching it. But it was cool to see because it just shows how far you've come as an editor. I mean, honestly, it wasn't a video; it was like a photo slideshow.
It was a slideshow, and then like I was quoting other YouTubers that like I'd watched their videos because I thought that part of the video was cool. So like I was trying to say it my own way, and I was filming with my iPhone, like straight up and down. It was just every editing mistake possible.
And then we called it like the Faith YouTube channel, so we were giving thumbs up. Like you get like actually don't go back and watch them because they're embarrassing.
Well, watch one of the first ones and then go back and watch if you want to, because then it's a really lesson of like you got to start somewhere.
That's actually a good point. You have to start somewhere because watching that is cringeworthy, but where you've come as an editor, where we've come as like being on camera even, I mean, not just our YouTube, but like we do live videos and we're on camera a lot and we've come so far, but we wouldn't have been able to have that growth had we not just kept at it. And you have to learn, you have to grow, you had to figure out how to be an editor. You know, and now it's like you're insane.
But that's a scenic route in a way of just like a lot of people have that perfectionism, or I'm not as good, or I'll never be able to do that, or I'm not going to do it because I'll never compare to that, or that comparison syndrome of comparing what you always tell me, stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 10, which is stuck with me. But it is like, for the first time I looked at it last night, it's like, wow, I had no idea what I was doing. I really wanted to do this. We started before we were ready. And we just went with it. And yeah, that video is shit. I mean, to be honest with you. But it still is fun to watch. Like, for us. And that's what it was meant for at the time. But looking at the videos now, it's a really cool testament to starting before you're ready. And just going for it.
Starting before you're ready and just figuring it out as you go.
And it doesn't have to be perfect right away.
Right. Because if you wait for something to be perfect, you're never going to start. It's never going to be perfect. The only way to perfect something is by doing it and then getting better over time.
Taking action. Having an idea, taking action,
100%.
seeing where it goes. We could actually end the podcast now.
Well, I mean, I think even with like public speaking, like that's something that I was so scared to do. And there's never going to be a time that you're like, I'm ready. I'm going to get on stage and I feel so confident. And hopefully that does just get easier over time. But like I had to get on stage scared, right? We had to put that video out scared. Like people are going to watch us. They're probably going to judge us. Like, do we know what to say? But you show up and you do it anyways, and then you just get better with time, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was such a side note. But check out the YouTube channel. We have so many cool things coming up this year. And Aaron is actually in the process of editing 16 videos that we never did last year.
Literally, so I never did Tanzania, IR, Paris, France. I mean, I could go on for days. Grand Canyon, Nashville, Maine, New York City. All these videos that we shot that I just never got around to editing because for all you people that we work, and editing takes, 8 hours is like a video.
Which, exactly. So this kind of even leads into the whole part of what we wanted to talk about on the episode. Because here's the thing. New Year's Eve, everybody gets excited. They want to, it's a fresh start.
I love New Year's Eve.
And I think it's great. Honestly, I think it's great. Like, if you can get yourself excited to do something that you really want to do, follow a dream, do something that's going to help you get to where you want to be. I think it's great. I'm all about it. I think that you can honestly do that any time of the year, and we do it multiple times a year, but I think it's just New Year's, people just are in the energy of like this fresh start.
It's a good relation to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right? Like you show your love that day, but you should be showing your love every single day. But it's like the universal day of love.
Yeah.
I feel like New Year's Eve is the universal day of fresh starts.
Fresh starts. And the thing with it is that we all have these, big goals for ourselves, but most of us don't stick with things come a couple of months. Like we get bored or we don't have, a good plan set up. And so we kind of fall off course. And so we don't stick with it. And one thing that we've been talking a lot about is like we getting super clear of what we wanted 2020 to look like, feel like, what we wanted to do. And I think the biggest thing is like when you're trying to get clear on what you want, when you're trying to set a goal or something you want to work towards, getting super clear and focused with like one thing. Like one thing, maybe two things, because when you have that focused energy, you're really able to show up for it and give it like your full attention. Mm-hmm. And I think people get super excited and they want to do this, and this, and you can only like you end up spreading yourself so thin that you're kind of showing up half-assing things instead of just putting everything into like one focus. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm working towards. This is my plan. This is what I'm doing. And so it's like about doing less better.
Yeah, 100%.
Doing less better.
And it's funny because that's a big part of, I'm reading Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden. It's actually a really good book. And he talks about the fact that you can lay a piece of paper on the sidewalk in the sun and nothing happens. But if you take a magnifying glass and put it between the sun and the piece of paper, it catches fire. Right. Because focus creates energy and creates fire, right? And so that's kind of one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about that just came to me was a lot of people on New Year's make these huge, big resolutions without actually trying things and seeing how they work. And like a lot of times you and I have made bold predictions, like trying to do a vlog. Yeah. We tried to do a daily vlog when we got home. And that is just not possible for our lives. Right. It's a bold, really cool thing that is deep down in our guts of something that we wanted to do, which is why our YouTube channel is coming back to life. But from a daily perspective, it was a really bold statement to say that we're going to do a daily vlog. We tried to do one or two. It didn't really work, and we couldn't stay consistent with it. But like the podcast, that's what's crazy, is like we've stayed consistent with this 27 weeks. And that's like really cool, really focused, and something that we can continue.
Well, yeah, I think it's about coming up with an action plan. Like you have to have an action plan towards what you want to do, because I want to do a daily vlog. Great. What is that actually going to look like? What is that actually going to entail?
What goes into that?
And get down and like nitty gritty with getting a plan of what is it actually going to take. You want to, get healthier and hit the gym. That's such a big thing for so many people. Great. Be specific. What is that actually going to entail? Is it going to entail you getting up at 5 a.m. to get your workout in? Do you want to go to the gym? So instead of saying like, I want to lose 10 pounds or whatever it is, getting like, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week.
Yes.
I'm going to, drink more water. I'm going to limit, my carbs at night, whatever it is, but being so micro with what your plan is. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a plan,
it doesn't work.
Right.
And you get burnt out.
And not only just a plan, and I think this is the biggest thing, is like letting go of the distractions that are actually taking you out of what you want to be doing.
What do you mean?
So like, what if you have I'm going to just use our goal right now, like what we're wanting to do in 2020.
Ooh, you're going into it.
I'm getting into it.
Let's go.
Because I think it's a perfect example.
Perfect.
Right? Got to be super clear, know what you want, get a game plan of how you're going to achieve it, and then let go of what's going to distract you from getting to that point.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Tap into your gut and actually feel that feeling of like what you want, right? Like really feeling it out. It's not just like a mental thing. It's like a feeling, like really getting super clear on that feeling, that gut feeling of like, I want this so bad. And there's no way around it. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. And no one's going to get in my way. But what do I need to do to get there?
100%. Yeah. So for us this year in 2020, there's a lot of things that have come up that we're like, okay, what do we want this year to look like? What do we want to do? Do we want to stay put for a little bit? Do we want to, whatever, we're running through the gamut of all the things. And what we actually really, when we got down and dirty, we're like, what do we really want? And what we've been wanting to do for a long time is to take a year. That's always been like the goal, is take an entire year off and just travel the world.
Yep.
That's something we've always wanted to do. And in all honesty, one reason we haven't done it is because we didn't want to leave Mimi for that long. Mimi is our baby, for those of you who don't know, our pug. And so that's been a thing that's held us back. But when we were really getting down, like, what do we want this year to be? Like, that is what we wanted. That, like, we wanted to take the time off to travel the world, to have this incredible adventure, to share about it, vlog about it, do the podcast
from the road.
Like, that's what we want to do. like in our guts, like in our bellies, like we just knew, like when we talked about that, we're like, this is it. Like this is what in 2020, this year, this is what we're going to do. And then at the end of the year, we'll reevaluate and kind of go from there.
100%.
And so saying that, that's a huge thing. It's huge.
I mean, you guys just thinking about that, if I was just like, hey, you should take a year off and travel the world. I mean, you can honestly already, what's the first things that pop into your mind? Finances, right? Boom. Like, that's number one. Like, can I do it? Can I take enough time off of work? Like, what is my family life going to be like? What are my people? I mean, there's just so many things, which is like a really cool example.
And so, yeah, it's like, okay, so once we got super clear on what we wanted, and we knew it, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, when we are done with our contract here in Chico, we are going to take the rest of the year off and we're going to travel. So we were super clear and committed on that. We knew that's what we wanted to do. So then the next part is like, what is that actually going to look like? What is that going to entail?
Can we
do this? What is this going to be? And so, sitting down and really going over budget and like diving into traveling on a budget, which we're going to do a whole nother episode on, because I think it's an interesting conversation, like vacationing versus traveling long term and budgets. And budget's not usually a word that we use.
But also
so we're learning a lot.
I mean, I was talking about it today, like you and I make really good money in what we do. We have savings account. We have everything we need. It's not like we're like some backpackers out of college with no money.
Right.
Like, so it's a weird concept to like.
But then we're going to like go on a budget because, we're all about like longevity. Like we want to be able to go for a long period of time. So diving into the budget, what is that going to look like? The logistics. So we got even more clear. And instead of just kind of wandering around, we decided that we're huge Orange Theory Fitness. Like we love it. We go, that's our gym of choice. That's where we go if there's one available on all assignments. And so we thought, how cool would it be to go to, there's 22 countries.
Orange Theory is in 22 countries, right? Actually, 23 countries, including United States.
Right. So we thought, how cool would it be to go to 22 countries and use that as our focus to go to the Orange Theory in the country and be able to experience all these different Orange Theories in these different countries, and using that as our focus. Mm-hmm. To get us to the area. And then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, what do we want to do in this area? Like, what do we want to explore while we're here? But the 22 countries is our focus.
Yeah. Like, for instance, there's one in Peru, right? So there's one in Lima, and then so we're down there. So there's a couple in South America, but it's like when you're down there, there's Chile and Argentina and Bolivia. And so it's like once you're down there, then we're going to go explore from there. Right. But I really think it's cool that the Orange Theory mapped it out for us.
Exactly. So it's giving us kind of this like focus of like, okay, we're going to hit South America. We're going to travel around there, and then we'll head to Europe and we'll travel around there, and then Asia. And so it gives us this kind of like reference point. So we're like, wow, this is really cool. And we can share about this. And one thing we love about Orange Theory is that it's community.
100%.
And so asking the people that we're in the studio with, where do we go to eat? What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. Kind of like picking the locals' brain and getting good tips and stuff to take out into whatever
But that's what
doing.
We've done as healthcare travelers, which I think is cool.
Right.
Our first stop is where's the local Orange Theory in that town.
Right.
And so we've gone in there and we start talking to the people that work the front desk and the trainers and the people that work out, and like, what do you recommend? What are the must-dos? Where are some restaurants to go? Because we're like-minded people.
Right.
And it's actually turned out great. So now we're going to take that and document the series globally.
Right. And we're going to do a whole episode and kind of dive more into this, but that is our focus. That is what we want to do. We're so excited about it, and it allows us to do it won't be a daily vlog, but like a every other day vlog.
I keep wanting to say bilateral, but
I was going to say buy something too. Yeah. Buy daily or something.
Buy daily.
But to do our vlog
every other day.
And to just go out and have this cool experience and allow it to like lead the way.
Evolve, yeah.
And so then the next part is, okay, if we really want to do this, because we have a lot going on. We obviously won't be in a contract, so that will be done. But we have other things going on in our life. And so we had to really look at it. If we want to put all of our intention, all of our energy, all of our focus for 2020 is to travel, do vlogs, and our podcast. Like those are the three things that light us up and that we want to put everything into. We can't do everything. So what do we need what's a distraction?
Well,
what's taking us out?
Right, but break this down in a way so people know. One, we do a podcast every week. We have Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs, which is our Facebook group for healthcare travelers. We have Traveler School, which is our online course for healthcare travelers that we have like a separate group for that we do trainings in. We have our YouTube videos of my backlog that I edit. And we also have, I just went blank.
TravCon?
The TravCon. We're on the committee of TravCon.
Yeah. So we had to really take inventory and go back to, again, what do we really want, which we got super clear on. And then, okay, to make this happen, because again, you can't do it all. I'm sorry. You can't do it all. There's different seasons.
Can't do it all well.
Yeah, you can't do it all well. You can spread yourself thin and do a lot of different things, but if you really want to like put everything into something, you gotta give it your all. And we want to give our all to our videos on YouTube. We want to give our all to this experience in general. We want to give our all to our podcast and share all the adventures and things that we're going on this journey. And so in order to do that, what do we need to let go of for this year? And so we sat down and we had some conversations. And number one was this year, we're not going to go to TravCon. We're on the committee. We're in charge of planning and a lot. And so it was a really tough decision to make. Very
difficult decision.
And we love everybody on the committee.
Yeah.
But again, we were like, if we would have to come back in September, we don't know where we're going to be. Mm-hmm. We don't know if we're going to want to have to come all the way back. Mm-hmm. And then, we're speakers, so we have to plan our talks. We have to plan the allied room with, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So yes, could we do it? Probably, but would it take us away from what we actually want to be focusing on this year? Yeah, it would. Yeah. So we had to decide this year, TravCon's out. That was a big decision to make, but that decision supports our overall goal.
The easiest decision was the contracts are out. Work is done.
Well, I mean, that was like a no-brainer. Yeah. And then...
But I think, too, it's like we really focused that we've gotten consistent, like I said, with the podcast. So we realized the podcast, I get excited when we do these podcasts. So that's something that I have no issues keeping up with every week. I love talking in our Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs group. So it's like we'll pop on there and do some live videos and different things like that. But, and then also the vlogs. Like those.
Well, right, because it's like, what do you want to do? And if it's not exciting you and it's not bringing joy, I'm not doing it. Nope. This year, 2020, is about doing what feels fun, doing what feels joyful, and doing what we actually want to be doing. Not because we have to, not because we feel obligated.
Not because somebody might get upset with us.
Right. It's like, no, what do we want to do? Mm-hmm. And we love the podcast. We want to do that, right? I'm hungover. Let's just be transparent. We watched YouTube last night. We drank wine.
We drank wine. It was a gift from one of our friends who sent us a free bottle of wine from her husband's a winemaker. And so we're like, what a great time. Yeah. Let's have a bottle of wine.
And so this morning, I didn't feel my best. It was like, I feel like I haven't had a hangover headache in a long time. I had a headache. My stomach hurts, whatever. Not feeling my best, but we're doing the podcast and I'm like, yes, I of course, I want to do it. It's fun. I'm sitting in my bed in my pajamas talking shit. I love it. It's fun. So it's like, we knew we wanted to do that. We know we want to do the vlogs. Those bring us joy. And so letting go of the things that aren't going to serve us this year. And next year, we'll revisit TravCon. Is TravCon something we love? And it's a community and we're a huge part of it. And so we'll revisit it when it makes sense for where we are this year. Did it make sense? Traveler School, our online course for travelers. It's an incredible resource. We have hundreds and hundreds of students, and it's such a supportive system for them in a container, a container of support. And we're obsessed with it, and it's not going anywhere. But in order for us to have this year of freedom, we were doing bi-weekly Q&As and coaching and interviews and all of this stuff, which again is fantastic, but it also is a lot for us to show up every other week. We don't know where we're going to be. We
don't know our internet connections.
Right. And so we decided that we're going to take that mentoringship part of it out, and people will just get the course and we'll still have the Facebook group and we'll still be in there, but it won't take as much energy from us. So we lowered the price and we took out the mentorship part of it. And now people can just get it and they have the full course and they can dive in, whatever. But that was a big decision.
Yeah, no, and I think, how does this relate to you? It's really looking at your goals in life and really digging down deep into what you want in 2020 and going after it in an unapologetic way and really focusing on, what do you need? Mm-hmm. A lot of people just again, I don't know why, and it's human nature, I think, to just be like, oh, if we make that decision, like somebody might be upset, or my family might think differently of me, or God, people might think I'm crazy, or whatever it is. But if you feel it in your gut, then it's about clearing the path to where you can focus on that one thing fully.
Yeah.
And tackle it. Because I think that's something that you and I have wavered away from. Like, we've been going after these goals and we've been tiptoeing around them, but it seems like we always take on a new thing or a new something, and we realize like, what if we just nailed this, right? And it's funny because I always relate it to sports, where it's like, my dad always said, play multiple positions, because then if somebody gets hurt, you're automatically in there, instead of sitting the bench and like waiting for that one opportunity. But then there's that opposite thing of like being really good at that one position. Right. And so it's a weird kind of concept, but I'm more along the lines now on be good at that one position, be great at that one position, and go after that dream fully.
I agree 100%. And, you know, again, like you said, I think a lot of it is worrying, are you going to, when we're at the phase of letting go of the things that are distracting us. So like, for instance, like if for you, it's like a weight loss goal or something, and, you know, you might have to have somebody help you while you go work out, or have somebody help you with different things, and maybe you don't want to ask them, whatever, they might get mad at you.
Or you might have to turn down your Tuesday night dinners with all your girlfriends.
Right. But it's like, again, we have to let go of that and just really lean into, what do I want? What do I want? What is fun? What is, if I really get honest, what do I truly want? Be unapologetic about it, and then sit down, make a plan, an actionable plan. It gets super micro with the steps and what you actually need to do, because I think, again, that's one thing that takes people out, is they have these goals, but then they don't know how to achieve them, and then they start to just get to like, if we were like, we're just going to travel the world and blah, 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 but we didn't have a plan, we would be home a month later because we'd blow through all of our money. You know what I mean? Like, we have to have a plan and a system going into this to succeed. To do a daily vlog or a bi-daily vlog, that's going to take like a lot of energy, a lot of thought, and a freaking plan.
Yeah.
Right? Or we're not going to do it.
Not to mention, like, what supplies do we need? Do we need multiple, like, cards, multiple batteries, I mean, you have to really plan this stuff out, or if anything gets in your way, it derails you, then it frustrates you, and then you have to start from scratch. And I think that's just like with anything, even with like weight loss. It's like, what goes into that? Like, your meals, you have to plan your meals, you have to plan your workouts, you have to plan your workouts around your shift. Like, I am not a morning workout person. I love it. I love the feeling I have when I get up in the morning and work out before work. One, because there's no interrupted time there. I'm not getting like having to stay after work for a long time and gets in my way of my workout. But I know that I cannot stay consistent with that because it is not something I enjoy doing.
Right.
So I've had to work out, how do I feel my best? And I've stayed consistent for years now when I go after work and I set my schedule. And Orange Theory, that's one reason why I love it, is because you set that schedule and you got to show up.
Yeah, or you get paid $12.
You get paid $12.
Yeah. And so I think, it's like getting clear and then making small steps. Like making small steps. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but small steps. And breaking it down. Again, like for us, the first step was like, okay, where do we want to go? Budget, huge. We got to have a plan. We got to have a budget. Okay, that was the next step. The next one was like, okay, how are we really going to do this? And what do we need? What do we need to get rid of? And so it's like we just went down the line, right? And again, this is all new. So we're still going to be working out the kinks and as we go, because it's a big thing, but it's going to take small steps and planning and getting clear.
Yeah. I mean, I even came at Kim and I was just like, okay, so we're going to do South America, and then it's like, how do we do this? And like, where are we doing? And we're going to be in Portugal in July or August. And, you know, what are we going to hit there? And Kim was just like, listen, I think we should really just take it, like, let's look at South America and let's break that down. Yeah. And then when we're in South America, let's look at Europe.
Right.
And let's start breaking that down, but not trying to do it now, because I think there's also the over planning when you try to over plan and you're like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week and I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to cook every single meal. You're not allowing for natural life to come in, right? And then all that perfectionism and all those things and the fears, if people get derailed, then they're like, I can't keep up with this. I couldn't even keep up for the first week. I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding that things happen. And so how do you bounce back?
Right.
What are you willing to, what's the ebb and flow, right? Like, can you just have a plan but not be so stringent that it derails
flexible.
you? Yes.
And I think that's one thing that I'm such a planner.
What was that?
My hair.
Okay, if you guys could have seen this,
was
Kim
like-
literally did this like, I am such a planner,
It was
and like her
a
hair went
sexy
back.
hair flip. But I was trying to get my hair
I thought it
out
was like
ideas.
slow motion with like fans and stuff.
Should've.
It was insane.
I'm rocking a high pony per usual. What was I just saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
Being flexible.
Oh,
in
I'm
something that
such a
you're-
planner, and another one of my personal goals for the new year is I really want to be calmer and not as anxious, because when I don't have a plan, my natural, like what I naturally get into is a feeling of anxiousness, and I get worked up and I start to like freak, and then I take that out on you, and because then I get you worked up, and it's like, I really want to be more calm just with everything. And so going into it with having a plan, but also being like, we'll also figure it out as we go. And it's okay. You don't have to see, there's that whole GPS.
Oh, I like that
I forget who says
analogy.
it. Yeah. But it's like, if we're driving across the country and we're going from Jacksonville to Bellingham, and, you know, it showed us every single step that it was going to take to get there at one point, we would be like, oh my gosh, like we're going to hit a snowstorm, and then we're going to get off of the wrong exit, and then, you know, we have like a zillion turns or whatever. Like, it would be so stressful, but they give it to you like piece by piece, like turn by turn. So like, okay, I'm taking this turn, and then you're like,
I have 80 miles
next?
till this road.
Yeah.
And 70 miles till this road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to see so far in advance, because that will also, I think, at least for me, make me feel
No,
anxious.
and I love that. And I think I love what you said even more about the fact that you're not only 2020, we just said is the year to go big, and we never even said it's our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh my God. Hello. That was one of the main points.
So basically what we thought of was 10 years of marriage, 10 months of travel, or a year.
Yeah.
22 countries.
Yeah.
That's kind of
That's
like our
the
MO.
goal.
So 10, 10, 22.
Yeah.
Is basically what we're going for. And so, but I love what you said about that's our big goal. That's our like vision, right? We're going to do this, and we're going to do everything to go that takes us to that route, right? But you just said that you're trying to focus on being calmer around planning and getting uptight. And I love that aspect of making a resolution, goal, whatever we want to say, just resolution because of New Year's Eve, of how you want to show up in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, because the minute you said that, it actually triggered me to, I was like, wow, like what am I trying to work through? And I think my biggest thing is my fears around the filming and, you know, doing different things, like when it feels awkward, and kind of stepping out there and just completely being myself, and you know, filming in a group like that can get really
awkward.
It can get awkward and uncomfortable, and that I clam up, and then I don't film what we're doing, and then I panic when I'm editing because then I don't have the footage I want. So working on just really stepping out of my comfort zone even more when it comes to that is something I'm really going to work on this year. And I thought that was cool that you said that.
Yeah. Being calmer, having more fun.
Yeah, and being more adventurous. And that sounds crazy for a lot of people to be like, you guys are like planning to travel around the world for a year. That's pretty adventurous. But within the adventure, be more adventurous.
Yeah. Just kind of like putting ourselves out there, being more friendly, being open to meeting more people on the road, and just, again, letting go of the plan sometimes, and just, wow, if this comes up and we meet a local and they're like, hey, let me take you here, like blah, 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 like being open to saying yes to that kind of stuff. Like really being open for the adventure to lead the way and show us the way, and putting ourselves out there and being friendly and being talkative, being calm, and just being open, like being open open. That's like a big word. And just fun, calm, friendly.
Yeah. Get on a scooter and go.
Yeah. And because, again, we're like travelers. You know, we've been a lot of places. But, you know, going to Asia in 2016 was the biggest trip that we had ever done. We had never gone anywhere like that before. And, you know, we didn't know how long we were going to go for. And we, again, you live and you learn. Like, we spent way more money. We blew through money, like, you know, and that's why, again, we're taking what we learned from that. We're going to do things very differently.
We tried to basically bring America to Asia and get, like, peanut butter and jelly and, like, all these different things. And it's like...
Yeah, we'll just do things very differently. But, like, my point was that, you know, we were out there having adventures, but we were also, like, timid about, like, but I mean, I say that, but it's like you were driving all over Bali on a scooter, and, like,
I was driving within town, and I think that was the biggest thing of we would hire a driver and pay an outrageous amount of money to drive us instead of just jumping on the scooter that we had rented and taking it for a day.
Right. Yeah. So, exactly. Putting ourselves out there more, being more adventurous, being less timid and fearful, and being more go with the flow.
Absolutely.
And I welcome these calm vibes. One thing I wanted to say before we wrap up, because I wrote this down because I wanted to say it. Ed Milet always says this, who, if you don't know Ed Milet, he's awesome. Check him out. He's got a podcast. He's got books. He's got... his podcast is on YouTube. He does interviews with just like incredible people, but you can also watch it. He's just really inspiring. I like him a lot. But one thing he says about building confidence, and I think confidence is really important when we're coming into making any kind of a goal for ourselves, right? Is confidence comes from keeping promises that you've made to yourself. And I like you become more confident as you keep showing up for the things you say you're gonna do, right? And it just like compounds on each other. So it's like if whatever your goal is like following through with what you say to yourself.
Hold yourself accountable.
Be
your biggest critic on accountability.
Yeah. And then it just builds from there, you know? And I think that's one thing, like you and I, like when we put our like heads down and say like, we're going to do a weekly podcast or we're going to do a every other day vlog. That's something that if we commit to it, we are going to do it. And so if we're going to commit to it, we're going to put all of our energy into it.
That's actually...
What do we need to do to actually make that happen?
That's actually been a compliment that you and I get a lot, and that's something I'm very proud of, is anytime we're like, okay, we're going to run a 9.6 mile run, and we're going to do a 15K, but people are like, you've never ran to the stop sign and back.
Yeah.
We're like, we're going to do it. And we trained, 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 and we ran the race.
Yeah.
Anytime we've said, we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to do a weekly podcast, and we're going to nail it. And we've done 27 weeks straight.
That's crazy.
Like, we built a group, and we said we're going to do trainings every 2 weeks. So I'm, like, really proud of that.
I am, too. And I think, and again, it's not about, like, tooting our own horn. It goes back to the fact of when we say we're going to do something, it goes back to, well, what's the plan to get us there? What are the steps to get us there? If we're going to do a 15K, I can't run to a stop sign. What is the first step? The first step is trying to run past that stop sign, right? It doesn't matter how big the step is, but we always sit down. I think that's one thing, again, take this with you. I think this is why we've had a success in so many areas of what we say we're going to do, is because we always sit down and we get a game plan. We're huge with whiteboards, vision boards, and we write things out. This is the steps.
Fears, issues.
And we hash it all out and we get a good game plan. And then every day there's something that we're working on towards achieving that one thing that we said we're going to do. And I think doing that, you're going to set yourself up for success. And then the other thing is, if you don't have that all or nothing approach, because we all have that where we fall off and we're like, fuck it, I'm done. Like I had the pizza, I had a slice of pizza, now give me the whole pizza.
Pumpkin
and the ice
pie,
cream.
ice cream.
And we are notorious. Like we used to do that all the time.
We still do.
Yeah,
but we don't fall off.
Yeah, I don't feel like I do that because it's just like I might have a day like that, but it doesn't. Don't let it take you out completely. Where then the next day you're like,
oh right, I'm in the gym the next day.
Yeah. So being kind to yourself, having a plan, allowing for flexibility, but also being kind to yourself when things don't go as you think that they would, because it's life. But then having a plan to get back on track.
I think that's a good point, because I don't want it to sound like we were saying that we were like, we set a goal and we go after it and we do it. And like, yeah, that is something I'm really proud of. But we also have done a lot of things that we haven't followed through with, right?
Yeah.
And we just realized, well, maybe we weren't as passionate about that as we thought.
Right.
Right? And so
that's okay.
It wasn't like we failed. We were just like, yo, I was excited about this, but I don't really enjoy it.
Right.
And so I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like it's really worth it in a way, right?
Well, and that's kind of, the decision that we made about TravCon. Like, that was a really hard decision for us to make. And when we really sat down and got clear about it, it wasn't something that we felt like brought us joy and something that benefited us enough that, like, it was worth putting in the additional time.
And taking away from something
exactly.
we
did
really
wanted. That was the point. And so we loved it.
If you had to weigh them both out, what weighed more?
Yeah.
And that was where TravCon was just like, I don't have the love that I do for these things. It's not an equal thing.
And we can't do both.
We can't do both. So something's got to go. But I heard something today on Rory Vaden's book, Take the Stairs. He said, somebody said to him, I think it was his pastor or something. He said, you want to see what somebody believes in the most? Check their calendar and their checkbook. And I thought that was crazy. And it made me think for like 20 minutes. I was riding into work, like no volume, just like you spend your money on, and what do you spend your money on? What do you spend your time on? Because that's truly what you believe in.
100%.
And I was just like, wow, what do I spend my money on? And what do I...
Food
and travel.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
And the business.
That's true. That's all we spend money on.
That's it. Food, travel, and our business.
And they're all my favorite things.
And then what do we spend our time on? We edit videos. We do podcasts. We're in our group.
We travel.
We work out.
We watch reality TV.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true.
It was a really cool thing that made me trigger. So, check your checkbook and check your calendar, and that'll show you what you're really like, what you really believe in.
And what you have, because I think one big thing too is people are like, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And we always make time for the things that we want to do, period,
100%.
End of story. So it's not that you don't have time for it. It's just that you're not willing to make the time that it's going to take to do it. So that's either maybe you actually don't want to do it, or you're just not being strategic enough with your time to be like, this is something that's super important to me. I'm going to figure out how to do it. Again, we all have to make the time to take a shower and brush our teeth and get ourselves ready for the day, or have breakfast and make meals, because it's a non-negotiable. We have to do it, right? So when you really want to do something, do an inventory of how you're spending your time. And is it something you just really don't want to do? Or how can you make the time in your day to do it?
For instance, I had 2 terabytes of footage that I've never edited a video. And what did I always say? I don't have time to edit.
You've just edited 3 videos.
4 videos in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And you said I didn't have... No, you just didn't want to make the time.
Correct. That was the biggest thing that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
I refound my love for editing. It started to feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so then I said, I don't have time because every video takes 8 hours. But what I've learned is I'm perfectly capable of doing 2 hours here, 2 hours the next day, 2 hours the next day. Yeah. And I feel so resolved and so excited to jump back in. I'm actually thinking about it now, about our 4th video that I'm ready to go do. So it's on my mind.
Yeah. There you go. All right. I think we've said it all.
I think that's it. So
we're really excited about 2020, and we're going to be taking you guys along with us. So, we're going to finish our contracts here. We start in New Zealand, and we're going to kind of hit the road from there, and we'll be talking more about this. We kind of just went over like a general kind of thing of like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to dive more into it. I really do want to talk about like budget stuff, because that's a really big thing that we're learning right now. And traveling and just kind of all the things. But we're going to be taking you guys with us on the podcast, on YouTube. We're really, really excited.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. And, obviously we're still going to be talking about healthcare traveling and,
100%.
Always giving tips and tricks and stuff on all of that. Healthcare traveling is what is allowing us to do all this crazy
That's
shit.
That's what I was just about to say. If it wasn't for healthcare traveling, we wouldn't be doing any of this.
Right. Exactly.
So
that is the catalyst for all the freedom we have, all the things. And so, we'll still be chatting about all that kind of stuff. And, We're excited. We'll see you next year.
See you next year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the next podcast will be in 2020.
People always say that at work. It's like so.
Like,
like,
see you next year.
See you next year. I know, we're so weird.
But hey, whatever.
Whatever gets you a chuckle.
But hopefully you guys' 2020 is very blessed and very inspiring and just a great year because we're excited about it. Hopefully you can feel the inspiration coming through the microphone.
I just wanted to say one more thing because we're huge with YouTube. We love YouTube because you can literally put in anything if you want to feel inspired by something, whether it's travel or beauty or food or motivational speakers, or you can type in anything into that search bar and you will get a video on whatever you're looking for.
Probably 10 or 12, and then you get to pick the person you feel the most connected with.
Yeah, based off their thumbnail.
Pretty much.
How crazy is that? But it's true. Like, you always do feel drawn to, like, 100%. Somebody. But I just bring it up because you came home from work and you were saying how you and the girl that you work with were watching YouTube videos today, and she had never watched YouTube videos, and she has a desire to travel and like her family doesn't really understand it, and just like she wanted to like learn more about it, and she had never even been on YouTube. So Erin's like typing in all this stuff and showing her. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And like I get to like watch these videos and like get like insight into where I want to go and all this stuff. And anyways, I just brought it up because I thought, like, if you're looking for any kind of inspiration, if you're looking for something that you want to just feel good, right? When I watch YouTube videos about travel or a podcast, I just feel good. And so just knowing that that's such a great platform that we have, that whatever you need, type in and you will have somebody there to support you. 100%. And I just think that's such a cool thing we have access to now.
Because most people set a goal and they feel like nobody's done it and I don't know how to get there and I don't know the steps to take. But when you can see that there's most likely any dream or goal you've had, somebody's already done it.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you can put your own stamp on it. We were talking about the little boy, that 5-year-old that made $2 million reviewing toys.
Yeah.
And so crazy. Linda said that, can I just review adult toys? Oh. And I said, well, there's probably somebody doing it, but there's only one Linda.
Oh, there is.
Right? So she could go big.
She would be great at that.
She would be fantastic.
Oh my God, that's odd. And then she would get to try them all out. Would she do it on camera?
I don't know. That's weird, but
that might take it to another level.
That's Pornhub, not YouTube.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's smart though. I love it.
But it was just funny because I was just like, there's only one Linda, so you can really find your own way, not creating YouTube videos, but seeing where you want to go and make your own path, but somebody's doing it for you.
Yeah, I love it. It's my go-to for inspo people.
Yep.
All day. All damn day.
All damn day.
Hashtag YouTube. Okay.
Hashtag Sarah Beth.
Oh, okay. All damn day.
All damn day.
Aw, I love her. All right.
All right, y'all. Well, happy New Year.
We'll see you guys next year.
Yep. Deuces.